There is a mobile restaurant located right in the middle of downtown. The seating is outside because only the kitchen is in a mini truck. This building is a restaurant that sells sandwiches. The owner is also the chef, so he pretty much does everything there. A man named Chris is sitting down outside eating one of the sandwiches. A couple minutes later, a man named Sean comes walking down the sidewalk wearing a suit and tie. Sean passes the sandwich restaurant and sees Chris. "Hey Chris, how's it going? I haven't seen you in forever." They are longtime friends, and both are excited to see each other again. He sits down next to Chris and starts to realize something. Sean looks at the place that Chris is eating at and doesn't approve of it. He starts to go on a rant. "Hey, how come you are eating here instead of eating at one of the restaurants over there? There is one literally a couple blocks that way. Don't you want to eat somewhere where there's more of a selection and there are more seats to sit at? Also, this place looks nasty and dirty. I wouldn't want you to get sick." Chris doesn't say anything and continues to eat his sandwich. He finishes his sandwich and throws his trash away. He sits back down next to Sean with a serious face. Chris said, "This place isn't nasty and dirty. I've been eating here for about 6 months, and I'm fine. I also have talked to the owner, and he is a very nice guy." Sean looks at him as if he is lying. He tries to force Chris to go to a luxurious restaurant with him later tonight. "Me and you are going to a 5-star restaurant, so I can show you what real food looks like." Chris just looks at him with a confused face. He starts to get angry, but then calms himself down. He puts his hands over his face, grunting. But then Chris stands up and looks at Sean. "I'm not going with you to any luxurious restaurant. Why would I spend my money at a place that makes thousands of dollars a day? All I'm going to do is give more money to the rich, and they already have everything in the world. I spend my money here because I am supporting his small business. I spend my money here so he can make sure his family is financially stable every day. I spend my money here so his daughter has to never worry about where her next meal is going to come from. I support the poor and stable." He continues to say that if he spends his money in the luxurious restaurants, he will indirectly help the already very rich owner to buy another Rolls-Royce, another mansion over the hills, and to travel on more vacations. Chris then walks away and gets on his bike. Sean just sits there in disbelief, knowing that Chris is absolutely right. This story shows us that supporting small businesses is always the right thing to do. Why do you invest your money in the rich when you can give to the ones that need it the most?
Steve is in the 4th grade, who is learning how to multiply in his elementary school class. One of his classmates shows Steve his collection of pencils that are in a pencil box. Steve looks at the pencils and sees one that really stands out to him. It is a light blue pencil that smells like a blueberry. He puts the pencil back in the pencil box and continues learning how to do math. The other kid, James, gets up and asks the teacher for permission to use the bathroom. James exits the room, but then Steve acts instantly. He grabs the pencil box and takes the pencil out, sticking it in his sweater pocket. James comes back, but doesn't realize that his pencil is missing. An hour goes by and school is now over. Steve hurries home as he keeps watching his back just in case James finds out that his pencil is missing. He gets home and runs to his room upstairs. He closes the door and puts the pencil in a secret compartment, but then his dad comes barging in the room. He says, "Why are you in such a hurry, son? What are you up to?" Steve has his back turned to his dad with his hands still in his sweater pockets. The dad waits for him to turn around, but he doesn't. He goes and grabs his son, reaching inside his pocket. Then all of a sudden, Steve tries to run out the room. Dad has grabbed the pencil and notices that he has never bought his son that particular item. "Why do you have this pencil, Steve?" "This is not yours, so why do you have it?" says the dad. Steve sighs and sits on his bed, knowing that he stole that pencil from his classmate. The dad puts the pencil down on the bed next to him. "I will be back. Do not move a muscle," says the dad. Steve looks terrified as his dad leaves the room angrily. He sits there anxiously, not knowing what his dad is up to. 30 minutes go by, and Steve hears a car pulling up to the house. It is his dad. Steve sits as still as possible, not knowing when his dad is about to enter his room. The dad's footsteps get louder and louder as he climbs the stairs. Then the dad comes barging in with a plastic bag. He sits next to his son and gives him a box. Inside that box are 20 pencils. The dad looks at him straight in the eyes and says, "Here are 20 pencils for you to keep in your backpack at all times. Give the other pencil back to the kid that you borrowed it from, and keep these. Also, if any student doesn't have a pencil or asks for one, please give them one from this box. Do not be a greedy kid. I raised you to be better and more caring." Steve understands every word he says and accepts the box. The next day, Steve gives James his pencil back and sincerely apologizes. They both accept the situation and go on with their day. This story teaches us that you need to be a generous person, not a greedy one. We all should look out and provide for each other if we have the option to do so.
The weather is gloomy. Fog arises over the brown house. Brandon and Mia are eating at the table with their daughter Sophia. It is their 15-year marriage anniversary. "Why are you always cooking shitty food?" says Brandon. "I tried a new recipe and I hoped you were going to like it," says Mia. Brandon quickly gets up from the table and smashes his plate. Sophia runs to her mom and hugs her tight. Brandon paces in the kitchen back and forth. "Can you please stop doing that? Sophia is getting scared," Mia shouts. Brandon looks at Mia with an evil eye. He scurries out of the kitchen and then proceeds to his bedroom. The next day, Brandon works on a car trying to retain himself from screaming. He shouts, "Ah, again! It is not working!" "It's okay, baby. It's just a screw," says Lily. "I need to get a divorce. I can't do this anymore. Every time I come home, I don't like what I see." Lily showed a smile and delighted to hear that Brandon is in a hurry to divorce his wife. Brandon enters his house, storming furiously to the living room, work uniform still on. "I want a divorce right now. Every time I see you, I want to strangle you. What do you even do for me, huh? Nothing. Exactly." Sophia came out of her room after hearing all the commotion. Mia sits down on the couch in disbelief, a confused look up and down her face. She quietly mutters, "What's going on, Mommy?" Mia suddenly starts to tear up. "Nothing, honey. Just go back to bed, okay, sweetie?" Sophia runs to her bedroom. "I want a divorce right now." Brandon looks Mia straight in the eyes. After a while of thinking, Mia quietly says, "Okay, fine. You want a divorce so bad? Let's get one." "Okay, fine. Well, I'll go file one tomorrow then," mutters Brandon. Sophia gets up from the couch and grabs Brandon's hand. "The only way I will sign the papers is if you do something for me," says Mia. Brandon says, "What is it?" "You have to carry me to bed, tuck me into bed, give me a kiss on my forehead, and say I love you for 7 days in a row in front of our daughter." Brandon has a confused look on his face. Okay. Deal." Brandon was in a hurry to inform Lily about the conditions of the divorce. Lily and Brandon were so happy that they got married so soon and live together now. They are counting seconds to finish these 7 nights. On the first day, Brandon gets home from work and quickly takes Mia to the bedroom to complete his duties. On the third day, Brandon has dinner with Mia and Sophia. They all finish dinner. Brandon completes his duties while Sophia watches from afar. On the 5th day, Brandon notices Mia is looking skinnier than usual. "Are you okay? Are you eating?" says Brandon. Mia explains, "I'm fine, just tired." Brandon completes his duties as Sophia watches from afar. On the 7th day, Brandon goes up to Lily at work. Lily is working on a car at the moment. Lily asked, "How are you, baby? You don't look good. You should be very glad that only 1 day is left, and then you get rid of her." Brandon says, "No, Lily. I am sorry to tell you. I am really sorry, but since I have been with you, I became so negligent to my family. I came here to tell you that we're done with this relationship forever." He walks away while Lily stays there speechless and shocked. Brandon gets home from work with a bouquet. He wanted to surprise his wife. He entered the house and heard a voice of crying in the bedroom. His daughter is crying and saying, "Mommy is not replying." Brandon checked her neck to see if her heart was beating, but no. She passed away. Later, he found a letter. It reads, "Dear Brandon, I know you've been cheating on me this whole time. I saw you many times before with your girlfriend. It would hurt when you would yell at me for things that weren't my fault because you had a girlfriend the whole time. You always neglected me and my daughter, but it's okay now because she knows how good of a dad you are. You carried me, kissed my forehead, tucked me in for bed, told me you loved me for 7 days straight. And your daughter saw everything. She loves you and looks up to you. Recently, I had a pain in my lung. I visited my doctor. After checking, he informed me that I have cancer in my lung. It was slowly killing me. But all I wanted for our daughter was to see you as a role model. The reason I agreed to divorce was my condition so that you could show our daughter that you loved me and our family, and you cared about us. So Sophia does not hate men in the future. So please be a good dad for our daughter, and a good husband for your future wife. I love you. Sincerely, Mia."
High school teacher Liam teaches his history class. He ends the lesson about 10 minutes before class is over. He goes over to the whiteboard and writes a question. What makes a great leader? He then processes to talk about all of the great leaders that we have had in the past. Liam goes to his desk and takes out a round red box with a lid. He goes up to the front of the class and starts to say, "I have a picture of one of the greatest leaders from the past 100 years. Whoever can guess the person right now, I will give you a pass on the next homework assignment." All his students raise their hands at the exact same time. They all get excited as they might have a chance to get a pass on the next homework assignment. Liam starts to call on people. A boy gets called on and responds with, "Steve Jobs?" Liam starts to call on everyone in the classroom, having all of them say their guess. The students start saying all kinds of different people, ranging from Martin Luther King Jr. to Rosa Parks. Once they are done guessing names, Liam then asks, what qualities make for a good leader? One of his students raises her hand and she replies with, someone that is kind, respectful, and listens to what the people have to say. Liam then proceeded to tell his students that he is going to hand the box over to everyone so they can have a look inside to see who this great leader is. The student sitting in the front takes the box and inspects it. Her eyes glow up as she looks inside. She then passes it to the next student. All the students are looking into the box, and every single one looks shocked as they look in it. The box eventually gets passed back to Liam. Liam looks at one of his students and asks him, so what did you see in the box, Josh? Josh looks at him and tells him that there's a mirror inside and he can see himself. Liam proceeds to ask the class, so what can we learn from this? One student starts to explain that they are all leaders, the leaders of tomorrow once they tap into their full potential. Liam looks at his class and smiles. He starts to preach to his students. Liam said, there's only one person that can prevent you from being a great leader, and that person is yourself. You're the only one that can revolutionize your life. You're the only one that can change your life for the better. Allow yourself to be the best that you can be. This world is going to need new leaders soon. I believe in you, so it's time that you start believing in yourself. All his students look at him with awe. A couple students start to tear up listening to this news. They all look at each other and say, we are the new leaders. This story teaches us that we have potential to be the next leader. As long as you put in the effort, it will all pay off.
Hello guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, please share with your friends and family. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.